Wonogiri Regency has the characteristics of an IDD replete area with a history of severe endemic IDD area. While Wonogiri Regency has reached non-endemic status, there are several areas that have reached rock bottom in achieving non-endemic status of IDD. Goiter and creatine cases are still found, accompanied by iodine levels in local water that are close to zero based on district surveillance. In this condition, the continuous iodine supply must be ensured in such iodine deficient areas through a continuous IDD control program. In order for the IDD control to be sustainable, there is WHO's 10 indicators for a sustainable IDD control program as follows. First, functional institutional development or IDD team. Second, political commitment to the program to use IOD salt for all. Third, strong implementing organization at all levels. Fourth, USI legislation and regulations at all levels. Fifth, commitment to perform monitoring and evaluation with the support of a laboratory that provides accurate data for surveillance. 6. Mass information and education communication or IEC program and social mobilization on the dangers of IDD and the importance of consuming iodized salt. 7. Regular availability of iodized salt producer, retailer, and consumer levels. 8. Availability of urine iodine excretion or UIA levels data on a regular basis in severe IDD endemic areas in the most vulnerable groups. 9. Cooperation with salt industry to control salt quality. And 10. The database records periodic monitoring of iodized salt, UIA, and neonatal thyroid stimulating hormone or TSH. The objective of the research is to determine how are the 10 indicators of a sustainable IDD prevention program implemented in Wonogiri Regency. The location of the research is in Wonogiri Regency as an IDD endemic replete area. The data collected using focus group discussion on a cross-program IDD team. Data transcribed and analyzed using thematic analysis and SWOT method. Qualitative analysis was used to identify internal and external factors from the implementation of the 10 indicators of the IDD response program and summarized in the internal factor analysis summary and external factors analysis summary tables. The strength factors in the internal factor evaluation are IDD team in district level, commitment in budgeting and policy support from local government, a cross-sectors membership of the IDD team, salt surveillance and congenital hypothyroidism screening, the potential channel price for information, communication, and education, the average coverage of iodized salt above USI target, UIA reagent procurement, health office as the coordinator of the surveillance. Several weaknesses in the internal factor evaluation are the IDD control program has not been in accordance with the WHO's indicators, circulation of non-iodized salt in the market, lack of knowledge and skills of human resources implementing IDD surveillance. There is no legal related to the circulation of salt. Salt surveillance methods are not yet standardized. Doesn't have laboratory for UIA surveillance activities. Wonogiri Regency has not been able to produce salt independently. There is no UIA data on vulnerable groups yet. There is no cooperation with the salt industry, and the database has not been integrated. External factors evaluation includes opportunities and threats. Several opportunities in the external factor evaluation are cross-sector support of the IDD control program, support from the central and provincial government, cooperation with the external parties, making other agencies that have set local regulations on salt as benchmarking, opportunities for collaboration with external parties for IDD surveillance and capacity improvement, opportunities for collaboration with external parties to utilize research materials related to IEC, opportunity to do salt iodization independently in vulnerable areas, increase cooperation with salt-producing areas, and provincial government's assistance of mini titration lab equipment. Several threats in the external factor evaluation are prioritize of other issues can reduce commitment. The Minister of Home Affairs regulation regarding IDD control guidelines doesn't include WHO indicators. Dependence on leadership. The SALT regulation has not been prioritized program planning instrument. The required budget is large. The traders are not concerned with the type of salt being sold. The non-iodized salt supplies from salt-producing areas. The SWOT analyses were conducted to assess IDD elimination sustainability program based on indicators from WHO and exhibited several strategies. Strength and opportunity strategies is strengthen the commitment of the cross-sectoral team of IDD elimination. And strategies from the strength and threats is the need to draft a regional regulation on iodized salt to ensure continuous availability of iodized salt at the producer, retailer, and consumer levels. And the strategy from the weakness and opportunity is the need for mapping to prioritize areas and targets, carry out continuous monitoring, and provide a database for IDD surveillance so that Wonogiri Regency has UIA data. And the strategy from weakness and threats are strengthen the existing collaboration with competent external organization for human resources IDD surveillance skills training and strengthen IDD laboratory capacity. It is also necessary to develop a program to control IDD based on WHO indicator. In accordance with the experiences of various countries, continuous commitment is important to resolve the IDD problems. The IDD control program will be successful if internal and external follow-up and controls are implemented. It is necessary to implement a strategy to provide sufficient iodized salt and improve regulation of iodized salt to prevent severe complications due to iodine deficiency in the population. Surveillance is an important aspect in the sustainable management of IDD. Strengthen the implementation of neonatal screening programs for early detection of children with IDD or neonatal hypothyroidism. The conclusion is the SWOT analysis for 10 indicators of IDD prevention programs shows several key strategies for enhancing sustainability programs for IDD elimination in Wonogiri, including reach out for the vulnerable region and groups. That's all my presentation. Thank you for the attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So that is all for the first video presentation. If you all have so many questions to ask about, please be patient because we are going to view the second presentation from Dr. Jemerson and Dominguez, LPT ACAC, Alyssa May V. Refuerzo, Jedidiah R. Rile, and Harrianne Margaret M. Honrado. But before that, let me inform you about the background of our second researchers. Ms. Alyssa May Refuerzo is a licensed physiometrician, and Ms. Jedidiah Rile is also a licensed psychometrician. And Dr. Jemerson and Dominguez, maybe you want to introduce yourself?
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today I am with Margaret. who will be hello.
For the paper, for the second paper actually about the intergenerational poverty. So I'm Dr. Dominguez, who will be with Jedidiah, Rile, Alyssa, Refuerzo, and Harrianne and Honrado. Okay, thank you, Dr. Jemerson. Is Miss Alyssa May Refuerzo is here?
Yes,
Miss
po,
Alyssa?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
Oh.
What about Miss Jedidiah Rile? Are you here yet?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Maybe you can open your camera and test your microphone again. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, now that we are all ready, please mute your microphone so we are able to enjoy viewing the second video presentation. I'm sorry for Miss Alyssa and Miss Jedidiah. Do you want us to share the video or you want to share your video by yourself?
Hello. Good
Hello.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Sir Jonathan. I'll try to share the video.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Sir Jonathan. Would it be a lot easier and convenient for you to share our video, maybe? I'm currently having connection issues. Maybe
Okay,
hello.
we will try to
Okay,
play the
thank you so
video.
much, sir.
My pleasure.
Hi, Sir Jonathan. I'm so sorry. Can I try again? Can I try to share our video again?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much. I would just like to confirm, is everyone seeing my screen clearly?
Yes, we can.
I am Dr. Jemerson and Dominguez, and together with me are the proponent of this paper, Alyssa May v. Refuerzo, RPM, who's currently connected with the Department of Education School Division of Bacoor, Ms. Maria Jedidiah Rile, RPM, who's connected with Fabrichem Integrated
I'm
Resources
sorry, Miss.
Incorporated,
Can you make the
and
sound
Harrianne
louder,
Margaret
please?
M. Honrado.
Okay, thank you.
Good day. Today we'll present to you our manuscript entitled Intergenerational Child Labor, a multiple case study of Filipino farming families. I am Dr. Jemerson and Dominguez, and together with me are the proponent of this paper, Alyssa May v. Refuerzo, RPM, who's currently connected with the Department of Education School Division of Bacoor, Ms. Maria Jedidiah Rile, RPM, who's connected with Fabrichem Integrated Resources Incorporated, and Harrianne Margaret M. Honrado, who's currently connected with the Rice Cash Asia Philippines Incorporated.
The Republic Act of 7610, or also known as the Special Protection of Children Against Child Abuse, Exploitation and Discrimination Act, implies that 63.3% of those who are accounted as part of the country's workers fall under the child laborer category. As it can be a hectic job to do, farming is also seen as to have the most child laborers in the Philippines by 58.4%. It was described to be one of the worst forms of child labors that have been occurring for both in the past and in the present. Family. As it is important to anyone, it plays a huge role in the intergenerational transmission of farming. The Philippines, known to be an agricultural country, Filipino farmers are considered to be one of the statistically poorest sectors in the country in 2012. Parents and grandparents of the child laborers have also worked at an early age and also have low educational attainment as well. Having lived in a low economic status throughout their lives, were often unable to overcome it, hence passing it them onto their children and onto the next. This global phenomenon and sense of familism have inspired and motivated us to explore the intergenerational child labor cycle within the Filipino agricultural setting by discovering the history, the perception, and the experiences of the Filipino farmers. Through the use of the qualitative study, specifically the multiple case study, with the use of purposive snowball sampling, we were able to gather our data through interviews, observations, kinetic family drawings, and other sorts of multimedia documentation. Most importantly, our ethical considerations were also made sure that our participants were well aware of their rights in this study, where consents and assent forms were accomplished, our transcripts were also validated, and they were all informed about the data confidentiality of their information and at the same time their identities as well. But most importantly, the purpose of this study is to shed light and to share the voice of the Filipino farmers who have been working tirelessly in our country.
The first objective of our study is to discover the history of intergeneration transmission within their families. Intergenerational child labor was observed to persist within the Filipino agricultural setting as evidenced by the superordinate themes that emerged at the time of research. Given that the phenomenon has spanned across generations, one might presume that the transmission of farming roles from parents to children is imposed upon forcefully. However, we also have to understand that their exposure to such environment may be inevitable as they A, develop interest through early experiences, or B, older generations become mentors to their descendants. The aforementioned subordinates are both supported by the process of guided participation by Barbara Rogoff, in which mutual understanding or intersubjectivity is attained through proper communication with one's mentors. In this case, younger generations naturally experience gradual training as they slowly establish their familial roles. In here, we use the keyword influence or pangaru as expressed by our participants who told stories about how they grew up watching the elders work in the fields. For instance, participant C3 shared how he used to decline his father's invitation to work with him at the farm, but eventually ended up enjoying it after giving it a try himself. In a similar sense, the transmission may expectedly traverse if intergenerational farming serves as the sole source of income. This is especially evident in rural areas wherein there is A, limited access to other livelihood forms, or that farming in of itself is B, provides better profit than other lines of work. Knowing that the Philippines is an agricultural country and sufficient their income may be in comparison to the amount of labor, this sector continues to become one of the main providers for a lot of Filipino families. The key term livelihood, or panghidupan, was consistently cited by our participants, knowing that the reason they are in this field of work in the first place is for them to sustain their financial needs. As stated by participant B1, farming is how they and the people around them have been reared, and it is where they get their livelihood from, which is why they dedicate themselves to work for ours.
For Objective 2, in trying to understand the perspective of Filipino farmers, we will venture on the both positive and negative outlooks of Filipino farmers, of course, towards farming, the poorest sectors in the Philippines. In a positive light, Filipinos are well known for being hard workers, perqueras. Despite of struggling to provide, Filipino farmers tend to have positive outlook towards farming as a result of the income earned. Having said this, they value basic necessities such as food and water, mainly having the ability to provide for others and to provide or the ability to provide for the self. Similarly, we do share same sentiments with farmers from Ghana and Kenya. Being able to provide for the family's needs is a measure of success for Filipino farmers as well. As we can realize, both the sense of familism and the physiological needs are both present. Indeed, Filipino farmers can endure anything for their family. On the other hand, the Filipino farmers also have negative outlooks towards farming due to one's confinement to poverty, kemiskinan. As mentioned earlier, the farming sector in the Philippines has been identified as one of the lowest paying jobs statistically known in the country. Across literatures, a strong link has seen between poverty and education. It can be assumed that if one was born to a low-income family earner, having less to no means for education could result to a high probability of living an unsuccessful life. It can be said that experiencing less mental bandwidth in terms of planning and problem solving may have brought the sense of incompetency from deprivation to education among Filipino farmers. In connection, a certain sense of guilt along with aspirations exists. Having the lack of education was believed to be one of the factors behind the entrapment into farming. Intergenerationally, antarageneras speaking, being born into a family of farmers, it became a routine for them as a child to help their parents doing farm tasks. Being exposed and trained at an early age, they grew up realizing a sense of compliance, kepatuhan towards responsibilities, eventually considering farming as the only appropriate path for them to create livelihood. Nevertheless, Filipino farmers remain to hope and to view education as a main key to break the cycle and to live a better life for their family and for themselves.
In order for us to further immerse ourselves into the participants' experiences, we have, under the third objective, encapsulated those which are advantages and disadvantages for these Filipino farming families, while mainly focusing on the intergenerational aspect, which is not commonly given emphasis within other existing studies having the similar objective. At first glance, one might think that one's experiences as a child laborer are unlike the seeds or crops that they have sown, which would eventually bear them the fruits of their labor. However, apart from it being a medium for them to be a significant contributor to their families at such an early age, these experiences also allow them to better understand themselves through the interpersonal relationships. The improvement of one's self-esteem, relationships, and cooperation being some of the long-term benefits. Capturing the essence of the collectivism trait of Filipinos, one of our participants was able to express how working with more people helps with alleviating her exhaustion, especially considering that the people she works with are her family and friends. Moving forward, we of course tackle the flip side that is often the focus when it comes to discussing child labor in general. In a similar study made in Brazil by Jemerson and Souza in 2002, the persistence of the phenomenon across generations was discovered to be brought about by the fact that the similar circumstances have occurred prior to the existence of the current generation. For instance, child labor itself, as well as the poor educational attainment that often comes in hand. In our study specifically, we were able to discuss other disadvantages experiences apart from the usual ones, such as exposure to hazardous situations as well as unforeseen inevitable calamities. To multiple work forms and its isolation from one's age group. As evidenced by their venture to seek for other sources of income, the former has been especially observed by the older generation. Despite involvement in multiple work forms, however, at the end of the day, they chose to continue working at the farm. Meanwhile, the latter is more likely observed among the younger generations. For instance, A2 expressed how she was unable to make any acquaintances in the farm who are the same age as hers. She felt that way when she was still young, when all the children around her age were able to play while she was helping her parents in the farm.
The intergenerational child labor continues to exist within the Filipino agricultural setting, especially within the rural areas, specifically in Laguna and Cavite. This provided us two sides of the coin. It is concluded that Filipino farmers see positive perception towards the state of their current status, yet they also see another advantage of being provider to their children and to the family. On the other hand, as negative perception, being labeled poor for them as a farmer made them see it as a limitation, giving them the sense of self-confinement on the status of poverty as a result of the intergenerational state. Thus, these given challenges and hardships that they face However, Filipino farmers are still able to find happiness amidst being brought up as child farmers by their own ancestors.
Okay, so that is all for the second video presentation. If you all have so many questions to ask about, please be patient because we are going to view the third presentation from Dr. Lidwina Wijaya, Ms. Hafsin Nur Asmi S.P.W.K, Ms. Sri Hestiningsi S.T.MT, and Ms. Herlina Kurniawati S.T.MT. But before that, let me inform you about the background of our third researchers. Dr. Lidwina Wijaya and Ms. Hafsin Nur Asmi S.P.W.K are workers from Center for Participatory Planning, Diponegoro University, and Ms. Sri Hestiningsi S.T.MT and Ms. Herlina Kurniawati S.T.MT are workers at Bapeda, Jawa Tengah. So for Dr. Lidwina Wijaya, are you already here? Please open
Yes.
your camera and test your microphone.
Yes, I'm here, Jonathan.
Okay, thank you. For Ms. Hafsin Nur Asmi, are you here? Are you already here? Okay. What about Ms. Sri Hestiningsi? Are you already here? Please open your camera and test your microphone.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What about Ms. Herlina Kurniawati? Are you already here? Please open your camera and test your microphone. Okay, now that we are all ready, please mute your microphone so we are able to enjoy viewing the third video presentation. It's me, do you want to play your own video presentation or us playing?
Yes, Jonathan, we can do by ourselves to help if you
Okay.
we can. So thank you, Jonathan. Then let me share the video presentations. Yeah. Good afternoon. I would like to first. Can you hear the sound of recording?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can continue. That's the regional development system of Jawa Tengah province. Let me share screen. So this study actually based on the result of the mapping of competitiveness of the local kota and kabupaten in Jawa Tengah province. The outline of the presentation will consist of the research context, methods, result, and specific, and also the conclusions. As the context, we found that actually the average city competitiveness in Central Java has the higher value rather than kabupaten and also compared to province. So the urban area has the higher competitiveness due to its position as a center of accumulation and clustering economic activities. So we found the problem also. There is the competitiveness profile has not yet become the consideration for regional development policy for Kota Kabupaten, and also the tendency the city as the urban area, it is only on the administration means, not in its regional position. Yeah. So the question that how the competitiveness component of the cities in Central Java province and their role for the regional development system. So we have the goal to determine the urban roles in regional competitiveness with the objective to review the urban competitiveness profile and also to analyze their role in the regional system. For the concept, we follow the concept from Douglas about urban and rural linkage. And he mentioned the urban area as a role and capacity, a center for collection and distributions. It collects the capital, labor, and commodities, and also information. With capacity, the urban area becomes the center of agglomerations. The Douglas also promote the regional networks policy rather than the whole model that mentions about the competitiveness that is indicated by the productivity. That from the World Economic Forum and BRIN also indicate the competitiveness based on the four aspects, that is the endemic environment, human resources, market, and innovation ecosystem that consists of the 12 pillars. Yeah. Follow the economic World Economic Forum, competitiveness is the set of the institutions, policies, and factors that determine the productivity of the country. But considered with the subnational level, the competitiveness also need to consider that every locals of kota and kabupaten have the directions of their role. So the competitiveness must be more as the means the productivity performance of the kota and kabupaten in the regional role system. So for the methods, we use the value of the competitiveness, result of the mapping of the competitiveness in Central Java. So for the province, we found that mostly the competitiveness value of the city administrations are higher rather than the kabupaten and other area. That for Semarang, Surakarta, Salatiga, and Magelang, that mostly higher on health, employment, and institutions. Follow to the region system. In Kedung Sepur, there is the city of Semarang and Salatiga has the higher competitiveness value. That Semarang mostly on innovations, technology readiness, institutions, health market efficiency, labor market size, and business dynamism. While the Salatiga mostly on technology readiness, health market efficiency, and financial access. The Kedung Sepur regions has the regional development policy on trade, services, and processing industry that in synergy with integrated agriculture and tourism. While in Subo-Sukowono Sultan, there is the Surakarta city that has the high competitiveness variables on innovations capacity, technology readiness, institutions, infrastructure, health, labor market, and financial access. That is, the Surakarta city is the center for Subo-Sukowono Sultan with the regional development city on the directions on the integrated tourism-based region that support by agriculture and processing industry. While the Magelang city is part of the Purwomangung regions that Magelang City has the competitiveness on technology readiness, institutions, infrastructures, health, education, skills, and financial access. That is, the Purwomanggung has the policy mostly on agriculture and tourism based on development to encourage agriculture industry sectors. And Pekalongan City, that's quite interesting. This city has the value lower rather than to other area in these regions, but this city still has the competitiveness in infrastructure, regional economy, education, and skills, and also market efficiency and access to finance. While the Petanglong, the region of the Pekalongan, it is has the development based on the creative processing industry and agriculture-based development. The last is Tegal City, where Tegal City still has the second highest competitiveness compared to Kabupaten Tegal, yeah. But the city has the competitiveness in institution and labor market. Then the Bergas Malang is the regions for the development of the Tegal City based on the agrominapolitan and processing and then industry. So as the conclusions, we found that mostly Semarang, Surakarta, Salatiga, and Magelang has the higher competitiveness, mostly on the components of the urban activity, yeah. And all cities in Jawa Tengah have similar profiles on health, employment, and institutions. All the cities have the higher competitiveness in their sub-regions except to Tegal and Pekalongan. There is several reasons why the city that has lower competitiveness, that including the categorization of city that are not just based on functions and decentralization and regional autonomy. Also needed to verify the validations of the result of the mapping of competitiveness value with the different pattern and profile tendency of cities and regions. So it is necessary to consider that Kabupaten region also have urban agglomerations, but are still not yet determined as city. The better understanding of competitiveness profile of cities will provide more precise consideration for urban and regional development policy. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We have shared the presentations.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Holly. Okay, so that we are all done with the presentations. Now we are entering the Q&A sessions. Let's open the Q&A session. May I remind you that the Q&A will last around for around 15 minutes. If you have any question, you can click the raise hand feature in Zoom and we'll call you one by one. Or you can unmute yourself and ask the question directly to the research.
Okay, in the chat section, we have a question for Miss Rile and friends. The question is, how many % of the Filipino society are still farmers? When they do have the opportunity for education, how many of them are, of them after graduating still have the interest to touch up their farm for the continuation of their livelihood. Thus, child labor still exists in many farm families. In what age groups were child laborers? What was the solution for to decrease the amount of these child laborers? Okay, and the next question is for Mr. Holly and friends. Can you reshare what was the highest competitiveness for Semarang? According to your team, is the result advantageous for Semarang City in what way? Thank you.
Okay, you can now answer the questions. Ms. Rile, you can open your camera to ask, to answer the question. Okay, Miss Rile or Miss, Miss Riley or Miss Alyssa, do you want to answer the question?
Hi, good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon.
Hi, presently, we really don't have the exact numbers for Filipino farmers as of 2022. However, it is still present in terms of that these participants that we have still in their living in their rural areas, and some of them are still studying. And when it comes to age groups, in what age groups were child laborers? Based on the criteria of the UNICEF, most child laborers are considered with the age group of around 14 below. And that solution to that, I believe is it, I don't know, Ikawati, yes. I believe it wasn't really part of our we were also aiming to have that in our paper. However, that's one of our limitations, the solutions to it. However, I was able to come across this 2022, around early 2022, that there is this a non-government organization, an NGO. It is called KWF, Kids Who Farm. I believe it's already started in Mindanao, in the southern part of the Philippines. And they started to educate and to motivate young people, young individuals to study and to be involved in the digitalized farming and in the modern farming. They could start as simple as their gardens at school, at home, and they are currently pursuing more in the, I believe, in the Luzon area as well. And these child laborers, especially in our participants, what unique part of it is that they see farming or the field, the rice fields to be exact, as playgrounds. That is why they, as you can see in our paper, in our study rather, that these children both presented the positive and negative aspects of being a child farmer. And most of it were highlighted as they see farming in terms they as a playground as well, to spend time with their family.
Okay, thank you. Miss Alyssa, do you want to add something, or Dr. Jemerson, you want to add something?
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay, just to add on the information provided by Ms. Rile regarding the percentage of Filipino in the Filipino society who are still farmers. Actually, at the time of research, the most recent data provided by PSA or the Philippine Statistics Authority, about 2.1 million children were accounted for who are engaged in child labor. And within that number, 58.4% are specifically engaged in the farming sector. So approximately about 1.2 million children specifically. However, but if we talk about the percentage of farmers solely within the Filipino society, as mentioned by Ms. Rile, we don't really have the recent data for that. As for the other question regarding the opportunity for education, about how many of them after graduating still have the interest to touch up in their farm for the continuation of their livelihood. This part was actually mentioned on the first objective of our study. One of our references was able to emphasize the fact that child farmers have the tendency to skip school because of the amount of work that they have to do at the farm, because of the fact that farming is one of their sole sources of income. Majority of these children opt or tend to gravitate towards farming instead of pursuing their education instead, especially considering the amount of influence that their parents have on them. So from the ages of about 5 to 9, elementary age, school age children, about 90% are still able to attend school. However, as they grew a bit older, around the age 15, only about half of the children are left attending school, and then eventually they do end up focusing majority of their time on farming. And for the question, does child labor still exist in many farm families? To be honest with you, at the time of our research, we were only able to focus on one region in the Philippines, which is not entirely a rural area. Hence, during our search for participants, it was actually quite difficult for us to find child farmers who will specifically be categorized as child laborers, because as mentioned in our paper, those who fall in the third generation of our participants have the tendency or have more motivation to break free from the intergenerational cycle. However, if the opportunity permits, if we are able to expand our research on more rural areas within the Philippine setting, because the Philippines is still considered as entirely a largely agricultural setting, it would be interesting to see if it would child farming or intergenerational child farming in of itself is prevalent, especially as mentioned in more rural areas wherein farming is really their entire life. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Miss Alyssa. Okay. Hello, guys. nice to see you there virtually. Actually, we don't romanticize the result of our research. We wanted to highlight both the sad part and the good part of it. Although in our paper, we were able to take note of the cycle for child labor, and we wanted to challenge everyone, not only in the Philippines, but all over the world, who happens to be working on the field, touching the soil, plowing, and then ending up getting what it's produced. The first generation as being seen by others that poor because they keep on planting and plowing their lands. And then they go on the second generation, ended up seeing that thing, another poor opportunity. For others would say it's poor, but for the same family growing up in the second generation, it's an opportunity to be better. And then on the last generation, the third generations, definitely they would say like, you're a farmer again. So haven't you been, are you not tired being a farmer? like the usual question. Well, in our country, they find it really fulfilling, in a sense that they were able to, continue the legacy, not because they're poor, but because the legacy of plowing, and they have this happiness growing up, seeing how they, develop from a little boy to another generation of ancestry plowing the field. Although one of our concern there is that the last generation might have, because of people throwing questions and throwing, doubts on them, that why are still in that kind of work or that kind of, situation, despite the fact that the Philippines is one of the agriculture areas produced of rice fields. They end up, sometimes questioning themselves if they wanted to really go on agriculture anymore. That's why they try to divert to another course, which is, the Westerner type, giving us the Westerner perspective of agriculture. No, not agriculture. We wanted to become a lawyer now. So that's really odd. So that's why I think there is a mandate in the Philippines that there is 60-40. 60% should be agriculture, 40% for industry. So if you're going to develop a particular region, you should follow that kind of percentage or proportion. So we wanted to say, in this kind of environment and, the climate that we have, we are fortunate to plow and, cultivate the land that we have and has provided to us. And we don't see it, me growing up in the field, I don't see it as a child labor. I see it as a playground for me to be better. All right. So am I right, guys? Seeing in the field, running in the field, and then sometimes your mom and dad would call you, do something on it. So I personally enjoy it during the time.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jemerson. Now we'll continue with the second question for Dr. Holly. Dr. Holly, you can answer the question.
Well, thank you, moderators. I try to answer the questions that ask about the what is the highest competitiveness for the Semarang city, and also what the advantage for Semarang city. And yeah, maybe I can share again about this page, if I can. Oops, sorry. Yeah, this is the Semarang city, actually. Actually, the Semarang city is the capital of the Jawa Tengah province, Central Java province. As the capital of Central Java province, Semarang city quite have important positions as the capital for the province and also for the surrounding area that we mentioned it as the Kedung Sapur, Kendal, Demak, Ungaran, Semarang, and Gerobokan, yeah, and Purwodadi. And if we can see here that Semarang city follow the mapping from the competitiveness with the concept from the World Economic Forum and also from the National Research Institutes, that actually we can see here that the Semarang mostly has the high value. It is in Likert scale from 1 to 5. So if this is more than 4, it's quite high. So you can see here the Semarang city has competitiveness in business dynamism, innovations, capability, technology readiness, institutions, health, market efficiency, labor, financial, and also market size. From these numbers, actually, we can make some classifications of the numbers. For something like infrastructures, health, we can categorize like basic elements for existence for the development of the city for the Semarang. So with the good institutions and also health, Semarang will become have a good platform for developments. And for the efficiency, we have business dynamism, technology readiness, and also we have market efficiency, financial access, and market size. With this competitiveness, Semarang has the productivity to maintain and to play a role as the capital of this province, and also the center for collective and distributions of the good and activity in the surrounding area, Kedung Sepur. And also Semarang has the quite important innovations capability. It also indicates for the competitiveness for it to grow up, to make growing more then. So it is important that we see how the competitiveness aspect or components in the context of how the city work in their role. It is not just the numbers, but numbers indicate what is the component, a good one for the Semarang city, for their role as the capital city, as the center for collections, distributions of the service and also goods for surrounding regions. Maybe I can say something like this one, but the real one maybe we can see for the how the business activity in Semarang happen. So maybe I can stop here. I would like to invite maybe Bu Hesti, Mbak Nia, or Hafsi can add more as our team. Please, Mbak Nia.
Okay, let me add for some issues, good issues for Semarang City. At the statement of Pak Holi, I think Semarang has a good infrastructure. It is a hard and soft infrastructure. We can say that Semarang City is a center of its surrounding for Kedung Sepur, so it's supported by the better infrastructure than others, and also have a human resource that support the activity for develop innovation, or a good ecosystem for innovation. I think something like that. So it makes Semarang City have a good capacity to play the roles for roles for its surrounding. It's for collective distributive, just like you say, Pak Holi. There's something like that, Mr. Eka. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mbak Nia, Bu Hesti would like to add something? Or Mas Hafsi? Okay. Well, thank you. This is our response for the questions. Thank you very much for the questions.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Holi. Okay, now before we conclude the first session, we will take a photo together. So please, everyone, turn on the camera. And operator, you can screenshot the photo. Okay, everyone, please open your camera. Okay, everyone, please turn on the camera. We will have a photo session. Okay, I will count on 3. The operator, please take the picture. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again, another pose. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you, operator, and thank you, everyone. Thank you for a fruitful discussion during the first session. Now is the time for our second session of researchers to present their research. Before that, let me inform you about the background of our first researcher, Dr. Lidwina S.T.MT, and Mr. Christian Untoro, SDS-MTS. They are a lecturer from Duta Wacana Christian University. Is Dr. Lidwina here? Please open your camera and test your microphone.
Yes, check. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, it's totally clear, but I cannot see
Yes, thank you very
your
much.
camera.
So I can share now my materials.
Okay.
Okay.
What about Mr. Christian Untoro? Are you already here?
Mr. Christian Untoro would like to join the Zoom, but he can. I don't know what the problem with the link. So he cannot enter the Zoom meeting.
Okay. All right. Okay, now that we are
Hello?
all ready,
Yes,
please.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Christian, thank you.
Mr. Christian, can you open your camera and test your microphone?
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Maybe we can start the presentation first, I think.
Okay, maybe we are ready.
Yeah, because
Please
I
mute
need
your
to prepare
microphone.
my camera.
So we are able to enjoy the first video presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, everybody. First of all, I would like to introduce you our team.
It's okay with the sound also?
My name is S.P.W.K. I'm from the Faculty of Architecture and Design, Universitas Kristen Duta Wacana, Yogyakarta. My co-author is Christian Untoro. Today, I'm presenting our study with the title, The Role of Gastronomy Heritage in the Development of Bicycle Tourism in Kota Gede, Yogyakarta. This presentation consists of 6 parts as written on the slides. The study was based on the involvement and the significant meaning of gastronomy heritage in bicycle tourism that becomes a trend in Yogyakarta during COVID-19 pandemic. Gastronomy heritage is a part of cultural product that is packaged as tourism attraction in which tourists experience in the process and product of culinary is focused. The involvement of gastronomy heritage in the bicycle tourism, especially in the heritage district of Kota Gede, Yogyakarta, may attract more tourists in this area. The study raises a problem that gastronomic experience is a significant aspect of local identity that may strengthen the branding of bicycle tourism route, the romance of Old City in Yogyakarta. Some questions will guide the study that are: how gastronomy heritage involved in the bicycle tourism in Kota Gede? How far local culinary play a role in the development of bicycle tourism in Kota Gede? Based on the problems, the study aims at exploring local culinary and its role in the development of bicycle tourism route in Kota Gede. The literature used as the reference of the study comprises the principles of bicycle tourism and gastronomy heritage. Bicycle tourism is an experience focusing on bicycle as the main transportation mode of tourism purposes. It is strongly connected with cultural tourism that involves not only process and product, but also experience. Bicycle tourism has the potential to develop tourism destination economically, socially, and environmentally. Gastronomy is everything related to art, practice, and studies about choice, preparation, production, service, and taking pleasure in eating and drinking. It is a part of cultural local named as gastronomy heritage. Such a form of tourism emphasizes experience in cooking process to serving the dish. The study implemented a descriptive qualitative research method with one of the 5 bicycle tourism routes in Yogyakarta as the case study. The bicycle tourism route, the Romance of Old City in Kota Gede, was selected to represent the bicycle tourism route in a historical district having strong local potentials. Some places that involve local culinary as the attraction were analyzed with the principle of gastronomy heritage consisting of the aspect of culinary and settings. The result will examine to find out the role of gastronomy heritage in the development of bicycle tourism in Kota Gede. The bicycle tourism route, the Romance of Old City, involves 3 tourism kampungs that are Rejowinangun, Purbayan, and Pringgan. This bicycle tourism route has 8 rest posts and destination. 3 of them provide local culinary that are Kedai Jeger, Herbal Drink, Kitchen of Roti Kembang Waru, and Kopi Lumbung Mataram Traditional Resto. Kedai Jeger is used for a rest post. The herbal drink is produced by the group of herbal drink makers in the Rejowinangun Tourism Kampung. The cyclist tourists were served with herbal drink and introduced the product and educational tourism in herbal cluster, one of tourism clusters in the kampung. The respository is the Kitchen of Roti Kembang Waru, owned by Bapak Basis Diharjo or Pak Bas. Roti Kembang Waru is one of the traditional cakes in Purbayan Tourism Kampung that has been produced since the Islamic Mataram Kingdom era. The cyclist tourists were taught about Roti Kembang Waru, its historical and philosophical meaning. They also have the opportunity to visit the kitchen and see the production of the Kembang Waru. The destination 8 is the finish point of the bicycle tourism route that is located in Kopi Lumbung Mataram Traditional Resto. In this place, the cyclist tourism were served lunch with traditional dishes consisting of sego berkak, traditional snacks, and ginger tea. Some local products such as handcraft, silver, and merchandise were displayed in this finish point. Based on the observation, some research findings can be formulated that are the rest post and destination or finish point have different types of local culinary that are herbal drink in the rest post 1, traditional cakes in the rest post 3, and traditional food and beverage in the finish point. Each post has different type of setting and activity. In the rest post 1, the cyclist tourists were welcome and served with herbal drink. In the rest post 1, the cyclist tourists had the experience in producing the traditional cake, Roti Kembang Waru, and were told story. In the destination 8 or finish point, the cyclist tourists were served with food and beverage, told its story, and sold the local craft product. Culinary experience or gastronomy heritage provided by the local community becomes the attraction and amenity of the bicycle tourism route, the romance of Old City in Kota Gede. Based on the analysis, there are some conclusions of the study. First, gastronomy heritage is involved in the bicycle tourism route, the romance of Old City in Kota Gede as response and finish point. Cyclist tourists have the experience in observing and preparation, production, serving, and taking the food and beverage. Storytelling about the local culinary was delivered to introduce the local identity and to build the branding of Kota Gede. Second, gastronomy heritage becomes attraction and amenity at the same time. Cyclist tourists have the experience in enjoying local food and beverage from the origin. And finally, gastronomy heritage empower the local people to participate in providing food and beverage as both attraction and amenity of the romance of Old City bicycle tourism. That was my presentation. Thank you for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
So
okay.
that is all.
Moderator.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So that is all for the first video presentation. If you all have so many questions to ask about, please be patient because we are going to view the second presentation from Ms. Lidwina Bryan and Dr. Ekawati Marheni Dukut M. Before that, let me inform you about the background of our second researchers. Ms. Lidwina Bryan is a student of the English Department, Faculty of Language and Arts, Sugiyopranoto Catholic University, Semarang, Indonesia. And Dr. Ekawati Marheni Dukut M. is a full-time lecturer at the English Department, Faculty of Language and Arts, Sugiyopranoto Catholic University, Semarang, Indonesia. Is Miss Lidwina Bryan here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And how about me, Dr. Ekawati? Are you here?
Here, of course.
Okay. Thank you. Please mute your microphone so we are able to enjoy viewing the second video presentation.
And also in Indonesia itself, there are 478 coffee shops. And in Semarang, where I'm currently now, there are 40 Starbucks coffee shops. So this data show that Starbucks is enjoyed by all over the world. It's globally followed by the young and old generations. And that's why this trend is considered as a popular culture. And not only that, Starbucks also shows the hegemony and the transnationality or cross-bordering of the US culture. And therefore, there is an easy entrance for Starbucks in many countries.
Okay, when we are looking into previous studies, we found this article, and we find that there is information about Starbucks, where the main coffee shop customers' activity is chatting. The coffee shop facility is there's free coffee ingredients to take, and the setting of the coffee shop is comfortable and homey. The coffee shop customers are friendly and pleased, and the coffee shop staff, for that reason, is also friendly, and they have a very close relationship with their customers.
In another article by Tipaldos, there is a talk about role of Starbucks for Swedish customers. Although Starbucks is a franchise, each country has the opportunity to create its local content based on its environment settings. So, for example, Malmo Starbucks does not have a drive-through because people in Sweden prefer to use public transportation more than driving with their own car. And the menu in Sweden is also made more local, with the menu being translated into Swedish. And this is different from the US experience, where there are a drive-through facility for people on the go. And most customers in Starbucks subconsciously follow the Starbucks habitus, where they will follow the purchasing order flow used by Starbucks around the world. Thus, customer would make an order first, and then they move to the side and wait for the order to be delivered, rather than make coffee self-service. Another habitus is how the waiters and waitress wears a black or green apron, that is depending on the level of the rank.
Okay. There's also a study by Roshada who explained that customers are satisfied with Starbucks due to their promotional programs, cleanliness of outlets, speed of their services, friendliness, and the product hygiene. These factors make customers frequently come back for more coffee at Starbucks.
So, in this report of Starbucks effort in Indonesia poverty alleviation, there are three research questions to answer. First is, how does Starbucks show itself as a popular culture? And second, why is Starbucks a symbol of US transnationalism, globalization, and hegemony? And third, why does Starbucks see SR due to alleviate society poverty?
Okay. Before showing you the result of the analysis, I would like to inform you how Starbucks has become a transnational product by looking into its history. Starbucks was opened in Seattle, Washington, USA in 1971 by Baldwin F. Siegel and Gordon Bowker. Starbucks was just a store that sold a pack of coffee beans to the customer. However, Howard Schultz in 1984 changed Starbucks into a coffee shop that followed the Italian coffee style. Now, this Italian coffee style had the characteristics of showing or giving various types of coffee, such as espresso and cappuccino, which are exotic and have elite concepts. Thus, from here, Starbucks decided to apply this idea to make many variations of coffee in their menu. And because Starbucks does not only sell black coffee, but also sell variants that are enjoyed by the Italians and many other countries' flavors, the coffee shop attracted many American customers and made itself successful by having it franchised to other nations. For example, Starbucks opened successfully in Japan in 1996. Then it entered in Indonesia in 2002 through Plaza Indonesia Jakarta. And by April 2010, Starbucks opened in Semarang with its first location in Paragon Mall, Semarang. This mentioned location is proof that Starbucks coffee shop can easily crisscross borders and make it a popular American transnational culture.
Besides the historical facts of Starbucks coffee, the shop would not have been successfully accepted by the world customer if it had not followed the popular culture characteristic, which can be read in the following slide. Because Starbucks is a popular culture, it becomes understandable why the American green paper cup with a white outline mermaid image or white paper cup with the green outline mermaid image must be followed by other Starbucks coffee shops. This shows us that the USA Starbucks has hegemonic nature in addition to symbolizing how globalized it has become. Whether or not when the customer consumes this product of globalization, just like a sailors who are usually hypnotized by beautiful mermaids. And the Starbucks customer are broke to mesmerize Starbucks coffee and would have no objection to spending their monies both on the many variant that Starbucks coffee shop offer.
Okay, so apart from selling coffee and giving people the convenience to enjoy their coffee, the mega success of Starbucks coffee shop is actually due to its corporate social responsibility, or CSR programs, which cover a wide range of business aspects and employee relationships, such as supporting local communities, educating and empowering workers, giving gender equality and also to the minorities, and saving water or energy for consumption, and taking care of waste reduction. Now, for this reason, we have the following method for our research, basically qualitative, descriptive analysis, convenient sampling, and we also did an interview. And our research subject is basically a Starbucks Paragon Wall. All right, as informed through our three main questions for our research, we firstly had the question of how does Starbucks show itself as a popular culture? This is proof of what we can find and researched on. First of all, Starbucks is a popular culture because it gives satisfaction by providing a variety of drinks ranging from regular coffee to coffee mixed with other ingredients to indulge the customer's taste. There's a cozy coffee shop environment cafe equipped with Wi-Fi and different rooms for smokers and non-smokers that are made available for comfort. There are friendly staff in the Starbucks there with the bartenders that are trained to greet customers with their expertise in coffee processing and the eye-catching packaging appearance of the products. Now, Starbucks is a popular culture also because it is easy to obtain. There are many malls that have Starbucks. There's technological developments also that provide easy access for Starbucks coffee to be in the tip of the customer's fingers, and they can ask for GrabFood or GoFood drivers to deliver it. Starbucks is also a popular culture because it is eager to please by providing many kinds of giveaways or discount prizes. Although there may be a buy one, get one for free program, Starbucks is actually manipulating people with their promise in order to gain as many coffee buyers as possible. Now, one of their strategies is to make local themes, such as Ramadan theme, to reflect what the society like or does. And because Starbucks wants to satisfy as many customers as possible, it follows the pop culture characteristics of having promotions that are of a temporary nature. By doing this, they can make customers always like their most recent products. The practicality is of always being served in paper cups, but it can also be made into cute bottles like seen in the slide that we see here. It's also a strategy to attract frequent customers, and therefore creating a global but also local lifestyle by making available hangouts or local menus becomes a strategy to make customers find time to return to Starbucks. But being a business, Starbucks as a popular culture does make way for profit making. Not only are the owners becoming millionaires, but they are becoming billionaires.
And then the second research question is, why is Starbucks a symbol of a U.S. transnationalism, globalization, and hegemony? The aspects that show the American image are in the form of service, Western lifestyle, lead in the global market, free facilities, materialism, consumerism, and technological innovation aspect.
Okay, now the third question that we try to answer is, what does Starbucks CSR do to alleviate society's poverty? This is the main focus of our research. Well, being a successful company that earns billions of dollars, Starbucks has the responsibility to make CSR programs. One of those programs is to help protect the environment and help needy people. In protecting the environment, Starbucks trains people to be responsible farmers who can recycle waste and make green building programs in order to be favorable with the world's climate change.
According to Starbucks report in 2021, they also provide full tuition coverage for a first-time bachelor's degree through the Starbucks College Achievement Plan for the underprivileged students. Also, Make Caring Unites partners for partners experiencing financial hardship. And the last is give up to $1,000 in annually in matching fund to eligibly nonprofit organization for partner donation or volunteer time.
Now, especially in Indonesia, what Starbucks is doing is they're giving Youth Action Grant, a particular donation program given to several foundations. They give assistance to underprivileged and neglected children. They show concern for the environment by supporting the EPOS water movement, which provides clean water to needy people, and also make a water for change programs to provide clean water to an elementary school in Bekasi.
In Semarang itself, according to my interview with one of the barista, they made a program such as visiting a museum with orphans, being a facilitator for soccer coaching training in Semarang with professional coaches from Jakarta, and providing food assistance for needy people.
Okay, so in conclusion, Starbucks is a coffee shop that has many branches around the world. It is popular because it fulfills the 10 characteristics of popular culture. The globalization aspect of Starbucks brings them to be accessible coffee shop in every country and become a popular cultural phenomenon. It also brings hegemony to the American image. It can be seen from the aspects of the service, Western lifestyle, leading global market, the value of freedom, consumerism and materialism, and technological innovation. Now, being successful as a billion-dollar business, Starbucks makes a corporate social responsibility program all over the world too. For example, give special attention to the building of green environment and care for needy people. Therefore, audience, thank you for attending our presentation. We would be happy to answer any of your questions in our question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, my name is Lidwina. I'm currently a student from English Department, Faculty of Language and Arts, Sugiopranoto Catholic University, Semarang, Indonesia.
And I am Ekawati. I am her lecturer also at the
I am Natalia Widiasari from Atmajaya Catholic University Communication Department, and I conduct these studies with my partner, Mr. Alphonse Christian Harjana from the Sugia Pranata Catholic University. And our studies is about the myth in corporate social responsibility, narrative coverage by an oil company. The case is video of CSR of Petronas Oil Company in Indonesia. So for the introduction, the life in the modern world is mainly supported by natural resources in all of its forms, such as gasoline, iron, and electricity. And on the other hand, the exploration and exploitation of those natural resources creates problems, starting from the environmental problems, land seizures, profit-sharing agreement. So the environmental degradation is easily observed. The environmental degradation makes communities who are identified as farmers and other agriculture-related roles gradually lost agriculture or natural-related roles gradually lost their identity, and the communities are detached from their previous livelihoods. And the damage caused by the mining activities has been a long concern. To address the problem, the Indonesian government issued government regulation that, among others, is regulation about corporate social responsibility starting on 2001 about oil and gas. And then the latest is Ministerial Regulation number 5, 2007 about partnership and community development program, which is later refined by the number 8 in 2013. And the purpose of this study is how does the narrative in the video of an oil company cover the myths of the CSR? When implementation guidance of CSR is over in economic, social, and environment, they are narrated to meet what expected as a myth, not necessarily overcome the difficulties. And decipher of the cultural meaning of a wide variety of visual signs. A mythic or connotative system is a second-order semiological system built off a pre-existing sign system. The sign of the first systems become the signifier of the second. Mythic signs reinforce the dominant value of their culture. Sign of the first systems become the signifier of the second. Mythic signs reinforce the dominant value of their culture. Ideological signs support for the status quo by transforming history into nature, and dictates the current condition are the natural order of the things. Here, the conceptual frameworks of the myth. The myth itself is the second order semiotic system. So here, the first order is the denotative. Based on Barthes, the first system is the denotative meaning, and the second system is the connotative meaning, which is reversed as myth. So here, the first signifier is community development or partnership, and then the first signified is contribution to sustainable economy and environment. So the first sign is the CSR implementation. These first signs become the second signifier, and the second signified is school renovation, clean water access, hydroponic workshop, entrepreneurship training, teacher training, cool box for fishermen, and t-shirt production. So the second sign is the herald of good corporate citizenship. And here our case is video CSR of Petronas Carigali in 2017. We will not present the video itself. You can browse it later if you want, if you like. But in the video, we present that the CSR video of Petronas shows their activities in the aspect of community development. That is education, health, and entrepreneurship. And these activities are held in East Java and in Central Java. So the first, the education, it is school renovation, teacher training, students participation in scientific competition. And here's some pictures that I captured from the video. And for the health, by providing fresh water access. And for hydroponic workshop here, so the hydroponic workshop installed on the former landfill sites. Yeah? So and here you can see the logos at the banner, yeah? Or at the clothes of the official. The fourth is entrepreneurship workshop, floss or abon from guava, and later on they also make dendeng. Here, it's actually a sliding, so I only can capture a little bit, but in the video you can see it clearly, the logos and the name. And the fifth, technical support for fishermen, cool box to maintain temperature of the pieces. And you can see it is here, the logo, yeah, at the cool box. And the opening and closing, we can observe the closing is only logos, while the opening is the sites and some caption. And here we discuss, throughout the picture, we can observe company logos cluttered in the video, a sense of pride just for doing it regardless the result. Let us not undermining the efforts, but posit the activities in the best possible way. The first, concern for health by providing freshwater access. Why is it a deeper well? How about pump well? How about the electronic pump well? Why not having freshwater installation that people could access by tap? I know among us, we can easily access water tap wherever we go, right? At our home, at our office, and at many places, we easily access tap water. And I think nobody still use the deeper well, right? So, is it a sustainable effort? Coastal area popular with the intrusion phenomena, where freshwater spring become brackish water. So why not installing a pipe system from a sustainable spring? And concern for the education, renovate the school, have a teacher training, facilitate student for competition. And the question will be how long the training for the teacher? Is there any regress? How to keep teacher motivated to strive for the best for the children? And does the school renovation just a rejuvenation of the old establishment? Or the school renovation aims to open access to a new skills and knowledge, such as computer laboratory, health facilities in the school, greenhouse for biology subject maybe? And concern for the economic and in the entrepreneurship workshop, I can say that the innovation of Abon, floss and dendeng from guava is indeed a bright idea. However, does the market need an education why they have to choose the vegetable over animal product? How is the distribution and is it a sustainable demand for the product? And planting hydroponic vegetable is a good way to fulfill everyday consumption of vegetable. However, on the other hand, planting on soil is much more efficient. However, the nutrition needs to rear the vegetable is a manufactured product that demands extra money to buy it. And planting on soil is much more efficient in terms of maintenance. And further, to sell the harvest must offset the cost of maintenance and in an economic scale to compete with the market, the existing market. And concern for the fisherman, the cool box, what will happen after the fishes get to the port? If it directly sold, does the price competitive? A cool box is a good start, and a further development of the freezer warehouse is needed. Moreover, any efforts to increase the competitive advantage value for fishes are needed. And in a long run, boats with a cooler system compartment is needed. And concern for the economic t-shirt printing, in the market, the t-shirt printing business is saturated and the expected margin is small due to the printing technology. The effort is easy to introduce, but in the long run, it is difficult to maintain its profitability. And the result, based on the myths defined by Barthes, the second signifier is narrated in the opening, posted as the CSR implementation. The second signified is narrated throughout the video, covering the efforts put into the CSR activities in health, education, entrepreneurship, and supporting the coastal livelihood by facilitating a cool box. And the second sign is by posing the company logo throughout the video as captured previously, and heralding the company as a good corporate citizen by doing so, by doing good. The myth that is narrated in the video becomes the best practice of the company in conducting further CSR efforts. And the dangerous part is when it is replicated without fully considering the outcomes of the previous efforts. And such kind of myth is retold and recited in similar business conditions, and in time it is normalized. Without a mindful reflection, such effort will be worthless in the long run, unsustainable and giving a sense of accomplishment, while the partner community is most of time judged to be trapped in vicious circle of poverty and judged to be ungrateful. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lidwina. I'm currently a student from English Department, Faculty of Language and Arts, Sugio Prato Catholic University.
Okay, so that we are all done with the presentations. Now we are entering the Q&A session. Let's now open the Q&A session. May I remind you that the Q&A will last for around 15 minutes. If you have any question, you can raise your hand from the raise hand feature in Zoom, or you can unmute yourself and directly ask the question to the researchers. If you have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask the question directly to the researchers. Or maybe the reactors, Miss Herlina and Dr. Jemerson, you want to ask or you want to comment something from the, okay.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. All right. I would like to ask, not really ask, but to clarify on the for session 2 for the first presenter about gastronomy heritage. Just out of my curiosity, was the Romans to old city is a bicycle route, and I was thinking out of my curiosity, why use Romans of old city? So does it mean to say that the bicycle route has been coined by riders? I mean, going to one route to another, or is this a bicycle lane for romances or couples? Because I think the pit stops or the posts are, I think they have their roti, traditional restaurant, and the other one was herbal drink. So I'm just curious. So it was actually my point of curiosity. I'm not asking the researcher, but I'm just curious, why is it coined as the Romans to old or Romans of old city? So that's my my curiosity. And then the other one is, it's not also a question but a contemplation of, in the Philippines. I was actually asking my students before, and even some of the participants, I was asking, like, in order for you to sell a product in the Philippines, like Starbucks, although I don't drink coffee, you need to post like local coffee bean. In the Philippines, the more authentic it is, like, don't put anything that would identify the product is being done in the Philippines. So if it's more like Westerners, like Starbucks would be more authentic Starbucks days, more authentic Starbucks, features. they would buy it more. So that's what I'm reflecting at. So here, when I ask Dr. Eka, he said like, the more you put local, the more people would relate, and the taste would not be diverted to, something that is, from the Westerners. Because and then here comes my insight. So like, oh yeah, I remember like missing my home because of the taste of the food I'm eating. So it is true. Like, I think it's valuable to work on localization. So essentially for Indonesia, working with Starbucks and putting local coffee beans would allow people to buy more. And then the last one, for the meat in corporate social responsibility, it took me in a surprise state that, don't get me wrong, guys, everyone who's here with me right now, the corporate social responsibility for Pertamina in Indonesia, Alyssa, I think my students who happens to drive would agree with me, like, Sir Jim, parang it's quite different. Was it different from us, Alay? The experience regarding the social responsibility for I mean oil in corporations like this. So right now I am here in Indonesia, but I am reflecting on so this is what's taking or happening in the Philippines at this point. So it made me realize, not to ask the researcher, but made me realize to reflect on what is really happening in our country right now. So I hope everyone who's listening right now would find really valuable insights on the results that the researchers were able to present today. So there, Jonathan, I said my piece. All throughout, I was thinking about it. So hopefully the others would have the same, thinking or insight as well. So you the floor is actually open for questions from those who are with us right now to be addressed to our researchers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Okay, for Miss Herlina, do you have any questions or do you want to comment something on the researchers? Okay, so maybe Dr. Dr. Ingwityanisi, you can answer the question.
Yes, okay, thank you. I hope I can answer your curiosity, Doctor. Yes, the romance of Old City is one of the basic tourism routes in Yogyakarta. It was created when the pandemic, Corona pandemic in 2020. The government, our local government, have created 5 basic tourism routes. One of them is the romance of Old City. This basic route is expected to explore on the potential of Kota Gede, one of historical district in Yogyakarta. So by following the basic route, tourists can have many experience of the heritage districts, and also they will have the experience to taste the local food also. So the romance of Old City means that this location, this route will follow the Old City of Yogyakarta, the first Yogyakarta Kingdom. So I hope it can answer your curiosity. Okay, Mr. Moderator.
Okay,
Or
thank
Pak
you.
Christian will answer, will add my
Okay. Mr. Christian, do you want to add something? Okay, maybe we continue to the second researchers from Ms. Lidwina Bryan and Dr. Ekawati. Please answer the question.
So yeah, of course, every Starbucks in every country have their own local coffee beans, and also in Indonesia we also have so many kind of farm coffee beans. According to the interview that I got from the employee of Starbucks, there are what is that? Coffee beans farm like in Sumatra, also in Borneo and Bali, and both of them has their own flavor, and when they sell it, it's for the coffee enthusiasm. It's really what is that? Really, you know, yeah, kind of like that. So, ma'am, do you want to add something, ma'am?
Yes, thank you for your answer, Lidwina.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lidwina Bryan, for your answer. Okay, for the third researchers, Ms. Natalia Widyasari and Mr. Alphonse Christian, please answer the question from Dr. Jemerson.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunities, and thank you, Dr. Jemerson, for your comment. This CSR's video is from Petronas Carigali. It's a public oil company from Malaysia, but in this video, they conduct the CSR initiative in joint corporation with a subsidiary of Pertamina. Pertamina is our public company. So it's owned by the government. And I'm sorry, Dr. Jemerson, I'm not quite hear your question. Could you repeat it? Thank you.
Like being part of the CSR, you were able to tell or share the corporate social responsibility. So in the thrust of your research, what do you think is the difficulty or anything that hinders the progression or the attainment of social responsibility here in Indonesia? I did not actually say Indonesia in particular earlier because I was just thinking like the Pertamina itself.
Okay.
The local. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Maybe my answer is not representing all the company that have CSR activities in Indonesia, but the point that we see here that the CSR initiative and activities that performed by the companies is what you call it reflect from one another. So that's why I highlight the myth, because when one company do something and get highlight, it's discussed in the public or getting award, where the award itself is people can buy. Award is actually the company contribute some money and then they got the award. So when their activity that gain the award is publicized and it's mirror, it's what you call it replicate by the other company. So it's you making like a spiral of the activities that in the long term, actually, it's not quite sustainable and contributing. That's what I want to put as the discussion. So if we look case by case, there is a progress. Yeah, there is a progress in terms of quality, in terms of replication, so quantity. But let's say I take an example, the access for fresh water. At the place, you can put the best facilities, or not the best, but as easy as tap water and a sustainable source of spring. But why you not do it? Yeah. So here is so this kind of a hesitance. Yeah, I identified a hesitance to perform. So the initiative is there, but it's not really what I say is sustainable, or not really helping actually. That's what I want to say. Maybe Sir Alphonse, you want to add something?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Instead of adding, I will give a summary. So the model of this CSR will give the minimum effort for creating a better life in the CSR location, but the continuation for the better life in that location, it will be questioning because it's just a short-term solution. That's why Miss Natalia said about the water, it is just minimum technology for creating fresh water. But if the Kali can give the better technology to get water, it will be a long-term project of CSR that will give a better life than just the current CSR. That's my addition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Natalia Udiasari and Mr. Alphonse Christian for your answer. Okay, before we conclude the second session, we will take a photo together. So please, everyone, turn on the camera because we have a photo session. Okay, please open your camera and the operator will take our photo. Okay, I will count on 3. Okay. Okay, we'll wait for the operator. Okay, operator are ready. I will count on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you everyone for a fruitful discussion during the second session. And now is the time for our third session of researchers to present their research. For the first, okay, for the first researcher are from S.P.W.K, MPD, and then Miss Arianti Manurung SA, and also Miss Anna Wahidah Rizky Manurung SCOM. For Miss S.P.W.K MPD, are you here? Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear your son, Jonathan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Okay, for Miss Arianti Manurung, are you here?
Sorry, Arianti Manurung is still in the process of joining with the connection problem.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay, maybe we can go to the video presentation. You can please mute your microphone so we are able to enjoy viewing the first video presentation.
Okay.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. We will like to present our article with the title E-Government in the Village of Labuan Batu Regency and its Impact on Public Service. Moreover, the second time, let me introduce the speaker and the author team. The speaker today, I am Sefridoni and Aryan Timanurung. We are from Research and Development Agency of Labuan Batu, North Sumatra, Indonesia. And the author team is Ana Wahida Rizky Manurung. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we are going to move on to the main presentation. I offer it to Arianti Manurung.
Thanks, Doni. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next I will explain our article. We all know that the village has received particular attention in recent years. As a tangible form of government support and attention to optimizing the rule of the village, it is reflected in many things, such as Law Number 6 of 2014 concerning village and President Joko Widodo's Nawacita program. Law Number 6 of 2014 concerning villages make villages the subject of development, and President Joko Widodo Nawacita program firmly prioritize development from the periphery and villages. The form of the law and the Nawacita program is clearly illustrated, one of which is the provision of villages fund worth billion for each village. Village funds are provided directly by the APBN and are managed independently by the village government to improve the development and the living standard of rural communities. Although all villages in Indonesia, including villages in Labuan Batu Regency, receive a large allocation of village fund, the improvement in development and living standard of rural communities is still far from expectation. This can be seen in public service that are still not effective and efficient. The ineffective and efficient public service in villages in Labuan Batu Regency are reinforced by the result of observation made by the social sector and Government Research and Development Agency of Labuan Batu Regency in 2020 and 2021. The realization of quality public service can be done regardless of status village, database, and the number of funds received. However, the government never stopped looking for ways to make this happen, one of which is by increasing the portion of intervention from information technology in public service, or what is known as e-government. Seeing the excellent opportunity for the use of information and communication technology, especially information system, to create villages with good public service, as well as good governance, it is deemed necessary to study the effect of the use of information system on the efficiency of public service in village government in Labuan Batu Regency. The research method used in the study is an experiment with a quantitative approach. The research is located in Labuan Batu district, spread over 7 sub-districts, covering 18 villages or kelurahan. The research design used was quasi-experimental. Researchers collect data through questionnaires, observation, and interview. The collected data related to the research were analyzed based on the data type. Researchers will analyze qualitative data from interviews with the qualitative analysis, and researchers will analyze quantitative data with quantitative analysis. The result of the study found that the conditions of each village were different in terms of their organizational structure. Some villages have computer operator and some do not. Computer operate are an integral part of implementing e-government in village government. Furthermore, the results showed that the research was carried out through several stages: preparation, installation, assistance, and testing. In the preparation stage, the Labuan Batu Regency Balitbang team asked to the locus village to provide several things needed to implement the village information system. Submissions relate to things that need to be prepared by the locus village are present in the dissemination and integration of village information system utilization activities with the village building index. In addition to be attended by villages involved in the research, villages that were not involved were also present. Not only the activity was also attended by the Assistant General Administration, acting head and the village community empowerment service, head of regional planning and development agency, communication and information office, Department of Population and Civil Registration, expert, and village facilitator. After the information system installation in the village was carried out by the Research and Development Agency, Research and Development Team, and appointed village official, the team held a small discussion to share views before installing the village information system. There were also questions and answers about technical matters in using the village information system to enrich the discussion. It doesn't just stop at the installation of the R&D team, it also exists. Considering that the COVID-19 virus outbreak was still spreading at the time the study was carried out, the assistant, after equalizing view and installing information system in the study locus village was carried out remotely and indirectly. Finally, testing was carried out to see the impact before and after the implementation of the village information system. The test results show a positive and significant effect of implementing a village information system on public service in Labuhan Batu Regency Village with a SAIC value two-tailed less than 0.05. Based on the result of research that has been done, it can be concluded that there is a significant difference between service before and after the use of information system on the efficiency of public service in the village government in Labuan Batu Regency. Certainly influenced by many things, including the completeness of village apparatus and human resources who are literate in information technology, the availability of information technology devices, and the availability of population data. The study's result also found that locus villages with low achievement were influenced by the low support of the village head, limited information and communication technology equipment, and the lack of population data only. The research results presented at this conference are part of the activities funded by the Research and Development Agency of Labuhan Batu Regency in the 2021 fiscal years. That's all for our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, that's presentation. Thank you very much for the opportunity and the attention. This Jonathan.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sefridono. So that is all for the first video presentation. If you all have so many questions to ask about, please be patient because we are going to view the second presentation from Insinyur Nico Plamonia, MT, MSc, PhD. For Mr. Nico Plamonia,
Are you already here?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Okay, so now that we are all ready, please mute your microphones so we are able to enjoy viewing the second video presentation.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Nico, do you want to share your own video or?
Can I present directly because I'm not sure that I'm agree with my video because I do always do this sort of thing because after I make a video I get regret. And can I present directly now?
Oh yes.
Is it possible?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. This is my presentation. Thank you very much. I will make it full screen. This presentation basically based on the idea why we, from a profession point of view, me as engineers, found it is difficult to balance sustainability perspective and the need of the markets. That's the first idea how it is pop up in my mind, and I would like to make it simple and easy because the concept of sustainability, like I said before, is very, very difficult to understand by the markets. Markets mean capitalism. Capitalism means the rich people, and rich people means I don't know if it's mean level for you, but for me, under sustainability perspective, is perhaps it's mean levels. So let's try a new approach to balance the sustainability aspect in our market system and how it is put into sustainability perspective. In my perspective, I would like to propose this kind of idea. For example, I would like to approach the sustainability from the value for money aspect, or hence for I will call it VFM, because VFM I found from many literature, I found that value for money becomes solely driving factor for the construction works, because I never found that, for example, kindness become a factor for construction work. It's not in the field. That's what I would try to say. So to be specific, what is value for money and in construction industries, I found that value for money means the ability to shorten the construction time and the cost efficiency. So my question is, where is sustainability actually? Because like I said before, it is on market hands because we don't want to call communists by others. But then we, on the other side of the coin, it is we are capitalists then. I'm not sure because it's out of my head. I cannot really discuss about that because it's not my expertise. So to understand what is sustainability, what I see from my research is at the hand of the decision makers, and where sustainability to be addressed. This is, for example, so I start to make one night. I start to write down my research question. So, for example, I try to balance the material from woods, which is from forests. Then I compare the material from woods with the material from the stone. Which one is really environmental friendly? Because at some point during my research, I found the decision makers, the owner of the hotel wants to use wood as a jogging track. This is very simple. This research is very simple and perhaps very narrow, I would say. But it is. I try to explain that from the money owner's point of view, they try to make the jogging track of their hotels from wood material instead of stone material. So that's how the research began. I tried to provide consideration for them. Why not using stone? Because if we compare between these two, wood or stone, using wood is lack of environmental friendly. It's not very environmental friendly. But what about using stone? Compared to woods, using stone as construction material is, I cannot say it's environmental friendly, but it's a lot of environmental friendly instead of woods. So this is the jogging track from this map, because these hotel owners, which is rich guy, capitalist head, I would say, he will try to use woods as a jogging track. This is what I didn't understand, is using wood to chop off the tree from the forest as a jogging track instead of using stone. It still makes me wonder how he at the same time can speak about sustainability properly. So this is the theoretical framework, I would say, because it is from Osram and also from my research. Actually, sustainability is part of decision making. It's part of power discourse. We cannot neglect it. It's back in the field. Even to cut the forest become a palm tree, or to cut the forest become to replace it with buildings, it's in the hand of decision makers. So what to I try to influence the information owned by the decision makers. So I try to explain to these hotel owners why not using this stone. He tried to explain the reason why. At the same time, he also explained sustainability. This kind of hypocrisy, I would say, is really affected the forest very affect the forest sustainability in Indonesia. So I try to compare this type of materials, because this research is very narrow, very small, but perhaps it will give the audience here the point, a different point of view with the approach of the sustainability. This is the ironwoods. The ironwoods is very rare woods, very rare wood and also expensive. This wood is grow only a specific place in Indonesia, in Borneo, in Sumatra, and part of Java. It is, of course, this wood is strong, dark in color. It is, if I can compare, it's look like often similar with oxwood in England. So what about andesite? Andesite is a stone, massive rock, but that we can also use as a jogging track material. It have the same quality with the previous material, with the wood. It is also have a longer lifetime. So I compare these two materials using scientific methods, I would say. So to argue with the decision makers, construction of the construction, money owners, the capitalists that I said before, to argue with them, I use these two factors, the construction cost and the construction time. So I compare the construction cost and the construction time of these two materials. And my method is my cost and time is served as independent variable, and my decision making is a dependent variable. It is cost and time really affect the decision makers, and at the end, the result of the decision making is they will select the lower cost and the shorter time during the building their hotel. So I take Arus Hotel in Semarang as my case. I would like to see how this the rich people in Semarang that always fluent to speak about sustainability on media, and he also own a hotel, and I communicate with him directly. I just pointing he's a man, he or her directly to discuss about it. Why you always want to choose wood is in your hotel? I didn't mention about sustainability, etc.
Sorry, Mr. Plamonia, your time is 3 minutes left.
Okay, so the result is that the construction cost of the ironwood is much higher price, much expensive instead of using stone, and the construction time to build jogging track with the stone is much longer than using the andesite stone. So my conclusion is, if using the ironwood, it costs much more money instead of using stone. So from the time aspect, from the cost aspect, from the material or sustainability aspect, using wood is much expensive. It's much longer, takes longer time, while using the andesite stone is much shorter time, it's much cheaper, and it saves 73% money when using the stone. But at the end, the decision makers still picking the wood as a jogging track. Thank you very much. That's all my presentation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Plamonia, for your presentation. So that is all for the second video presentation. If you all have so many questions to ask about, please be patient because we are going to view the third presentation from Dr. Justina Trihoni Nalesti Dewi, Dr. Andreas Pandiangan, MSc, Mr. R. Setiawan Aji Nugroho, ST.MCom, PhD, Dr. Datuk Ari Andrian Syah Samsura, Mr. Andreas Rian Sanjaya, S.E.P.MA, and Mr. Jonathan Quick, LLB, LLM. For Dr. Justina Trihoni Nalesti Dewi, please open your camera and test your microphone. You can use. Okay. Now that we are all ready, please mute your microphone so we are able to enjoy viewing the third video presentation.
Overview regarding conflict early warning and early response system for the city of Ambon. The authors are Justina Trihoni Nalesti Dewi, Roberto Setiawan Aji Nugroho, Datuk Ari Adrian Syah Samsura, Andreas Pandiangan, Andreas Rian Sanjaya, and Jonathan Quick. We are grateful to the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Technology of Indonesia for supporting this project under the University Applied Research Grant. We also thank to Ambon local government for facilitating the FGD event on 15 until 16 September 2022. Ambon is a city known for its plurality with regards to both the ethnic and religious affinity of its inhabitants. For centuries, people of different backgrounds and faiths had lived together in harmony, brothers and sisters side by side. Hidup orang bersaudara, living in brotherhood. Recently, Ambon is often colloquially known as Ambon Manise, Sud Ambon, reflecting a communal commitment to always live together in harmony. However, the Ambonese conflict of 1999 until 2002 caused the once peaceful city devolve into an extraordinary arena of violence, wherein peoples could reciprocally kill, destroy, and humiliate because of clashing religious identities. The conflict surprised many and gave rise to serious concerns of what had happened to Sud Ambon. Ambon's local wisdom, reflecting the Manichaean life since the beginning, had always taught living in brotherhood as a way of life through the internalization of hidup orang bersaudara values through bela and gandong. These are deeply ingrained relations of mutual goodwill and friendship, leading to a commitment to live together in harmony. The post-conflict period featured a relatively fragile peace. The divide between the two religious identities was never truly resolved, and distrust and polarization continued to persist. The fighting between teenage, disharmony between immigrants and natives, the struggle for customary positions, and the rise of the Batuanan area, if not handled properly, will become an arena for violence. Cognizant of this fact, Institutiva Damai Maluku launched an early warning system in 2005, which aided local communities to identify potential triggers to violence and to respond timely and appropriately. But unfortunately, the system was not running effectively, constrained by the problem of sustainability. While this problem was discontinued in 2012, data from the period of 2012 until 2021 nonetheless demonstrates that many grievances remain unresolved. In light of this, calls to renew Institutiva Damai Maluku's initiative have resurfaced. This is confirmed by the experience of other countries, which prove that the early prevention system has an accuracy of 80% in conflict prevention. So, as the purpose of this research is to redesign the early warning and early response system by empowering culture and local wisdom as well as village as its basis. The goal of this research is to construct and implement a more permanent and sustainable early warning and early response system in Ambon. Our early warning system is based on three cornerstones. First, full engagement of both grassroots and official administrative institutions, improving upon Institutiva Damai Maluku, which was discontinued due to a lack of legal and administrative support from authorities. Second, our early warning system draws from local values and customary laws, which have been proven by previous research to be powerful tools for conflict resolution and reconciliation. Third, our proposal innovates upon Institutiva Damai Maluku by coupling an artificial intelligence-driven conflict prediction system powered by machine learning, allowing real-time analysis of public internet activity to more rapidly predict and react to potential areas of conflict by identifying provocative or hate messages online. The project is realized through 3 stages of approximately 1 year each. The early warning and early response system is developed in the first year on the basis of multidisciplinary study, encompassing literature reviews, interviews, and focus group discussion, with the aim of identifying the optimal structure of the early warning and early response system based on social theories on conflict escalation and resolutions. The specific nature of the Ambonese people are that their custom and their values review successful early warning and early response system in different countries, and lesson learned from the Institutiva Damai Maluku venture. We also developed the early warning and early response system artificial intelligence and define the data used to train its machine learning component before the training the model to produce accurate prediction of conflict risks. In the second year, we inculcate the early warning and early response system in select areas in Ambon which have agreed to test the proposed early warning and early response system within their communities. Throughout the second year, data is collected to determine levels of user satisfaction, its viability, the practical costs and expenses, and the efficacy of the systems to predict and prevent conflicts. We also established a preparatory network of strategic alliances between stakeholders and community members, which enables general implementation in Ambon. In the third year, we undertake the final steps necessary to implement the early warning and early response system in Ambon. We engage with the Ambonese authorities and draft a proposed regulation to support the early warning and early response system. Second, we establish the necessary network for the citywide early warning and early response systems through workshops, seminars, discussion, and media promotion. We also provide technical training for the artificial intelligence operators. The project is realized once the early warning and early response system is fully functional and appropriately supported and backed by the local government to allow long-term and sustainable conflict prevention. Here it is, the result of the first-year project, the renewed model for conflict early warning and early response system of Ambon. The model needs to be tested in the second year in 2023.
So that we are all done with the presentations, now we are entering the Q&A session. Let's now open the Q&A session. May I remind you that the Q&A will last for around 15 minutes. If you have any question, you can raise your hand, or you can unmute yourself and ask the presenters directly. If you have any question, you can unmute yourself. If there's okay, doctor.
Sorry. For the first presenter for this session 3, I'd like to ask us. This is about the quasi-experimental design that was delivered to us. May I just ask, what's the content of the public services as an intervention? Because as mentioned, there was this before and after measures. So I just wanted to know, maybe I wasn't able to hear the content of the said intervention. So I just wanted to know how it transpires and what are the the essential features of the said services. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, doctor. For Mr. Safridono, maybe you want to answer the question.
Okay, I will try answer the question from Dr. Jemerson. Okay. This way, I will open the slide. Okay. This is data from quasi-experiment from our research after and before intervention from technology information and public service. This is have many different after and before. Some service this letter by Ansel. This is you can see this before intervention. This make more than 20 minutes, and after that this less than 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. Then our friend will add the answer. Please, Rianti Manuruk.
Okay. Thank you. I will add the answer. Why we interest in condition reaches entitled government in the village of Labuan Batu Regency and its impact on public service, namely seeing how difficult it is for us to obtain data in villages. When we down to the village, look for data, we also saw that all the village in Labuan Batu Regency, the mail service was still manual, so that people did not get easy and fast service. We choose 80 villages as our research in implementing a village information system. Beginning with outside the village, establishing a village information system to village official and assisting in inputting data into the information system. There are several obstacles in compressing population data and corresponding format into information system, namely operator difficult in converting data, difficulty in adjusting letter format, and the highest obstacle is time constraint considering the large amount of work. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Arianti Manurung and Mr. Sefridoni. Is there anyone else want to ask some question? Okay. Okay. So before we conclude the third session, we will take a photo together. So please, everyone, turn on the camera. Okay, are you guys ready? Okay, I will count on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the session. We thank all of you for participating actively, and for the researchers, we have a certificate of appreciation. Please give it up. Big applause for the researchers. Okay, we hope new insights and new collaborations have been found as one of the results of today's session. We remind you, if you haven't shown your attendance, please fill in the attendance in the bit.ly form provided in the chat room. Okay, thank you once again for the participating.
We hope to see you again tomorrow in another interesting and intriguing plenary and parallel session. We sincerely hope you will continue to have a fruitful day. Thank you and good day.